Layoff announcements skyrocketed toward the end of 2025 as generative AI and economic tightening pressure corporations to restructure their workforces. Many companies are cutting costs by trimming middle management and, in certain industries, eliminating entry-level roles that can be replaced by AI. But layoffs aren't the only thing experts are concerned about. Generative AI is speeding up how people work, but that efficiency can come at the trade-off of maintaining skills and rising up the corporate ladder.
It might save a buck now. The challenge becomes, in a few years down the road, where is the pipeline of talent to move into those really important middle ranks of your company? I think there's going to be a market failure whereby companies are reticent to really continue to invest in training young people instead of just simply turning to the cheaper AI to do those tasks if they fear some competitor is just going to poach.
The way you make a senior employee is not through school, it's by doing the job alongside someone who knows more, and you learn by doing, and that's where the bulk of our skill comes from.
Here's how AI may be killing people's chances at a promotion. Globally, nearly 40% of workers' core skills will be disrupted by 2030 due to AI and digitalization. It may be difficult for newer employees to build the skills they need due to organizational flattening.
The process for building skill has been the same for about 160,000 years. And it consists of trying to do something that is close to the edge of your capability, but not at it, alongside someone who actually has already done it repetitively and knows how to do it, i.e. an expert. So a novice and an expert working together on a real problem. You work your way through a number of problems, and eventually you find yourself with somebody looking over your shoulder, trying to learn from you.
New technology, such as generative AI, allows an expert to work faster, which means companies may not preserve the novice-expert bond in order to save time and money. In occupations where AI can perform most tasks, the share of workers in that role fell by about 14% over 5 years.
Why would I involve someone in the work that would slow it down and make more mistakes if I don't have to? The answer is I wouldn't. I don't. I found this in robotic surgery in 2012 through 2014 and published studies about that. Junior surgeons are now strictly optional in robotic surgery. Instead of participating for 4.5 hours in a 4-hour procedure, they participate for 10 to 15 minutes. That is still true. And that is true at scale now with LLM. So it's not about management, it's about expert novice and breaking that relationship.
The challenge is if everyone takes that mindset of, I can't guarantee these folks are going to stick around and be my mid-level talent, I'm just going to save a buck today. If everyone does that, the entire pipeline of talent starts to collapse. And in a few years, employers in lots of sectors are going to find themselves in trouble.
Generative AI is currently able to do the work of some entry-level employees. But right now, at least, it isn't capable of taking on more advanced tasks that may require interpersonal skills or sensitive judgment.
So think the law partner advising clients as opposed to sort of sitting behind a desk and drafting contracts. So the challenge is going to be what happens if employers thin out the ranks of those early career jobs that bridge education to that kind of expertise. How in the world are young people going to get trained up to come in at a level 3 if they haven't done level 1 and level 2? This is a really existential challenge for employers because they might be excited to save on labor costs today. So why am I going to invest in training up? If the billable hours aren't there with the young lawyers, why am I going to take on extra first-year associates that I don't need in the same leanest model? Why would my competitor not just poach those young people?
We need to expect that the economy is not investing to keep this expert-novice relationship alive in the work. In fact, we are aggressively breaking that relationship through default use of AI. And that means in 3 to 5 years, whatever firms, organizations, occupations were counting on that ladder continuing to work are going to face a new nasty set of problems. Cleanup is always harder than prevention.
This notion of how people are going to advance in their careers, what is the training going to look like? What has to happen first in higher ed to get them ready for these roles? But importantly, what should employers be doing differently to train up workers if those early career low stakes but still well paid roles are thinning out. How do we make sure employers aren't just optimizing only for the short run? I personally think we probably need some public policy tools and some outside intermediaries to really help with this training challenge.
This is also a problem for companies. 63% of employers surveyed expect skills gaps in the labor market to hinder organizational transformation. 42% of employers expect talent availability to decline between 2025 and 2030. Bean says companies must re-engineer workflows that include advanced technology, but also allow novices to participate.
The whole world has this huge inventive opportunity to say, okay, this thing currently, if you use it in default ways, is going to separate and weaken this bond between experts and novices in the work. Is there a way that it could make those things healthier? I think the answer is absolutely yes.
Bean recommends the skill workers learn is how to learn and to be adaptable.
I call it meta learning or meta skill. You need to learn the skills for getting good at something, because the next thing you're going to have to get good at, we haven't invented yet, but it's coming faster than it ever has before. Practice it repeatedly until A, you can help yourself, but B, much more importantly, you can help other people, protect their skill, and then maybe even design tech that can help everybody not dumb themselves down with the current AI that we've got. Firms that add new automation, new classes of automation in their markets win and grow because they're more efficient. They outcompete their competitors. The competitors are the ones that shed jobs, typically. So if you're seeing big layoffs from a firm that's really well run right now, it's not because they're needing to shrink because they're not efficient enough. They're probably just thinking about, well, how do we need to rebuild ourselves for the future? In general, the logic is if you want to grow healthily over the mid and longer term, you want to retain talent, redirect, and head towards you need to go to the extent that you can.